Don't chase after anyone who isn't running toward you. Let that sink in for a moment, folks. Have you ever felt the need to constantly text, check your phone, send one more message, just hoping for a response? You're sitting there, staring at the screen, waiting for that notification to light up, wondering why they're not putting in the effort the way you are. But here's the thing. If you're chasing them, you're already losing the game. In the world of dating, we've all been tricked by this lie that if we just chase a little harder, maybe they'll notice us. Maybe if we text first, they'll feel our love. Maybe if we keep checking their profile, we'll find the secret to their heart. But the truth is, you're not just some text to respond to when it's convenient for them. You're not an option, you're the prize. And if they can't see that, it's not your job to convince them. Here's the cold, hard truth, my friends. When you chase, you lower your value. You make it easy for them to take you for granted. It's like you're handing them a treasure map and saying, "Here, go ahead and find the gold." But folks, real treasure doesn't just get handed out, it gets earned. You should never make it easy for someone to take you for granted. You need to stop begging for attention and start attracting the right kind of love. The kind that values you for who you are. Not because you're always available, not because you're constantly chasing them down. Imagine this for a second. Picture yourself as a beautiful, rare flower. You don't need to chase after the bees. The bees come to you because they recognize your beauty, your worth, your presence. They don't need to be convinced. And if they don't show up, that's their loss. But when you keep running around trying to catch them, you're no longer that rare flower. You become just another plant waiting for someone to notice. But, my friends, you're not just another plant. You're the whole garden, the blooming masterpiece, the one that deserves to be admired, valued, and pursued. If you've been running after someone who isn't putting in the effort, this is your sign to stop. You don't have to chase after them anymore. When you stop texting, stop checking, stop seeking validation from them, you give them the chance to realize what they're about to lose. The key here is to be the prize, and the prize doesn't chase. The prize is the one who makes others chase. Let them feel the weight of their mistake when they realize you're no longer running after them. Let them see the consequences of taking you for granted. Remember this, folks. Real attraction is never forced. You don't need to beg for someone's love or affection. If they're truly interested, they'll put in the effort to get you. It's like fishing. You don't have to drag the fish out of the water. You throw the line out, wait patiently, and let them come to you. You don't chase them down, and you don't beg them to bite. You create the situation where they want to get caught. And if they don't bite, then let them swim away, because they weren't worth your time in the first place. Now, I want you to take a second and think about this. When you stop chasing, you make them realize what they're losing. You force them to look at the space you've left behind and feel that ache. That's the pain of losing someone incredible, someone who knows their worth, someone who doesn't beg. And trust me, when you stop chasing, they'll feel that pain. So here's what you need to do right now. Repeat after me. I am the prize. I don't chase. I attract. Write it in the comments. I want to see it. Press that like button if this resonated with you. And don't forget to subscribe, because we've got a lot more to dive into. This journey is just beginning, and I'll be with you every step of the way. Stay with me, folks. We're about to take control of our love lives in ways you never imagined. Number 1. The power of self-respect. Stop selling yourself short. Self-respect is the cornerstone of all greatness. Let that hit you for a second, my friends. We live in a world where respect is often seen as a commodity to be earned from others. But what if I told you that the real power comes not from others giving you respect, but from you giving yourself respect first? Think about it. How can you expect others to respect you when you don't respect yourself? If you're constantly chasing after someone who treats you like an option, someone who makes you question your worth, you're doing one thing, selling yourself short. Let me ask you something. Have you ever been in a relationship, or maybe just a situation, where you felt like you were always chasing? You texted first, called first, made the plans, tried to impress them, doing all the running. You were always wondering, do they care? Do I matter to them? Now think about this for a second. If you're chasing them, do you ever stop to ask, who's chasing you? Because, my friends, if you're the one always chasing after their attention, always running after validation, you're losing yourself in the process. And the truth is, you are not an option for someone to consider when it's convenient. You are the prize, and the prize never chases. Picture this. You're standing at a party. The music is loud, people are mingling, and then someone notices you. They make a move to approach you, but instead of you running up to them, begging for their attention or affection, you stand tall. You don't beg them to stay. You don't chase after them. You stand there with your head high, knowing that if they want your time, they'll have to earn it. You know your worth, and that confidence speaks volumes. And if they don't want to take the time to earn your attention, that's on them, not you. Because self-respect means knowing that you're worthy of love, affection, and respect without begging for it. You stop making yourself available to anyone who doesn't see that. Now I know some of you might be feeling a little uncomfortable. You might be thinking, but what if they leave? What if they forget about me? What if I lose them? These thoughts, they're real, they're valid. And trust me, we've all been there. The fear of rejection, the fear of being left behind, the fear of not being enough. It's a tough thing to face, especially when you've spent so much of your life chasing approval. But here's the thing. That fear is exactly what keeps you stuck. That fear is what holds you back from realizing your true power. If you keep chasing after people who don't value you, you'll never get the chance to step into your own greatness. And let me tell you this, you don't need anyone else's approval to feel good about who you are. We've been conditioned to believe that love and attention are something we have to earn by constantly seeking validation. That's the lie we've all been fed. But the truth is this. When you stop begging for attention, when you stop constantly texting, reaching out, and trying to impress, you flip the script. You start teaching others how to treat you. You stop selling yourself short by handing over your power to someone else. You are not just someone they text when they feel like it. You are someone they make time for because your time, your energy, your presence is valuable. But I get it. It's hard to break free from that mindset. It's tough to stop seeking reassurance from others, especially when you've spent so much time being the one to reach out, to show that you care. You might be wondering, what if I stop chasing? What if they don't come after me? What if I'm left waiting forever? I'm here to tell you, my friends, that this fear, it's a test. It's a test of your self-worth, a test of whether or not you can stand firm in who you are, without needing someone else to validate your existence. It's the test of self-respect, and I promise you, you're going to pass it. When you finally stop chasing, you take back control of your emotional life. You take back your peace. You stop living in the constant state of anxiety, wondering if they're going to text back, if they're going to choose you, if they're going to make the effort. Instead, you become the standard. You let them come to you, and when they do, it'll be because they recognize your worth. They'll realize that they were the ones who were lucky to have you in their life, not the other way around. But here's where the difficulty lies. It's easy to get caught up in the idea that love has to be a chase. We've all been taught that the more effort you put in, the more you'll get in return. But real love, my friends, isn't about chasing. It's about respect, trust, and mutual appreciation. And that starts with you. It starts with respecting yourself enough to not beg for love. It's about setting a standard that says, if you want my attention, you need to show me that you deserve it. Let's break this down a little further. Have you ever been in a situation where you were the one who always reached out, always initiated the plans, always sent the first text? At first, it might feel like you're just being the good person, right? You want to show them you care. But over time, that effort starts to feel one-sided. You begin to wonder why they're not putting in the same energy. Why do they never reach out first? Why do you have to chase after them to get their attention? This is where self-respect comes in. If you're constantly the one running after them, you're telling them that you don't value your time enough to expect the same effort in return. You're selling yourself short. But when you stop chasing and start showing them the value of your time, things shift. You stop waiting by the phone, constantly checking for messages. You stop wondering why they haven't texted back. You stop questioning your worth because you know deep down that you don't need to chase anyone for love. And when you stop chasing, they'll start running toward you. I know it sounds tough, my friends. I know it feels like you might lose them if you don't keep up the chase. But here's the truth. If someone truly values you, they will chase you back. They will put in the effort. They will make the time. And if they don't, then they were never worth your time in the first place. So here's what I want you to do right now. Look in the mirror and say this to yourself. I am worthy of love and respect. I will not chase. I will attract. Write it in the comments below. Show yourself, show the world that you know your worth. You don't need to beg for attention. You don't need to sell yourself short. You are the prize, and the right person will come running toward you when they see that. Press that like button, subscribe, and stay with me because we're just getting started, my friends. The journey to realizing your worth, the journey to self-respect, it's only going to get deeper from here. Stay tuned because the best is yet to come. Number 2. Don't chase. Become the prize. Chasing someone who doesn't value you is like running after a bus that's already left. You're just wasting your energy. Let that sink in for a moment, my friends, because here's the truth. If you're the one doing all the chasing, you're playing a losing game. And the worst part, you don't even know it. The truth about modern dating is this. Chasing signals desperation. Desperation is a turn-off, no matter how much you try to convince yourself that it's an act of love or care. Desperation isn't attractive. It never has been. It never will be. Now, let's think about this for a second. What does it really say about you when you're constantly the one initiating? Constantly the one texting first, calling first, setting up the plans. You're sending a very clear message. I'm not a priority to you, but I'm making you a priority in my life. You're teaching them that you're available, that you're always there when they need you. But here's the kicker. That's exactly the kind of relationship you don't want. When you're always chasing, you're telling them that they don't have to earn your attention. You're making it too easy. You're handing them everything on a silver platter, and they don't have to put in the work. But let's flip the script for a second. What happens when you stop chasing? When you stand firm in who you are, and instead of constantly running after them, you give them the space to come to you. Now, that's a game changer. When you stop chasing, you're sending the message that you have your own life, your own interests, and your own worth. You're saying, I don't need to chase you to prove my value. I am the prize, and if you want to be part of my life, you're going to have to earn that spot. You're not desperate. You're not available at their beck and call. You've got a life that's worth living, whether or not they're part of it. And guess what? When you stop chasing, you start owning the game. The art of attraction isn't about desperation or constant effort. It's about playing the long game. And what does that mean? It means becoming someone that's so valuable, so rare, so exceptional that the people around you can't help but want to be a part of your life. You become someone they can't afford to lose, not someone who can't afford to wait. People are drawn to those who know their worth, who are unapologetic about what they bring to the table. So, when you stop chasing and start owning your life, you don't just attract attention, you attract the right kind of attention. The kind of attention that's based on respect, admiration, and genuine interest. Think about the dynamics of attraction. Let's use a metaphor to really make it clear. Picture yourself as a beautiful, rare painting in a gallery. You don't go running to each person who walks by. You stand there, proud, displayed for the world to admire. And guess what? The right people will come to you. The ones who recognize your value, who understand the rarity of what you bring, will pause, appreciate, and seek to understand the story behind the painting. They will come to you. The others, the ones who don't see the value in you, they'll walk right past. And that's okay, because you know what? Those who walk past aren't the ones who deserve you. When you stop chasing, you begin to own your power. And trust me, the moment you stop chasing, the moment you stop running after someone who isn't reciprocating, that's when the tables turn. That's when they start to feel the absence of your presence. And let's be honest, absence makes the heart grow fonder. The moment you stop being so available, so easily accessible, they start to realize what they've been missing. And suddenly, you're no longer the one who's chasing after them. They're the ones wondering what happened, why they're not hearing from you, why they're not getting your undivided attention. The moment you stop chasing is the moment you start owning the game. You become a person they can't afford to lose. You become someone who commands respect simply by existing. When you stop chasing, you make them realize that your time, your energy, your presence is not something to be taken for granted. It's something to be earned. And that's when you stop being a convenience and start being a prize. So, let me ask you, do you want to be the one constantly running after someone? Or do you want to be the person who makes them realize they're running out of time to make you a priority? Because here's the truth. You are the prize. Any person worthy of your time, your energy, and your heart needs to show that they understand that. And if they don't, if they're not putting in the effort, not making the time, not showing you they appreciate what you bring to the table, let them go. Because there's someone out there who will recognize your worth without needing to be chased. I know this isn't easy. It's tough to let go of the habit of chasing, to stop seeking validation from someone who isn't offering it back. But I promise you, my friends, this is where the magic happens. When you stop chasing, you step into your own power. You reclaim your worth. You stop seeking someone else's approval because you already know you're enough. And when you own that, when you stand tall in your own value, the right person will be drawn to you like a magnet. So right now, I want you to say this with me. I don't chase, I attract. Write it in the comments below. Show the world, show yourself that you know your worth. You are the prize, and you don't have to chase anyone for their attention. Number 3, actions speak louder. How to measure true intentions. Words are easy, but actions speak the truth. Let that hit home for a second, my friends. In today's world of endless texting, emojis, and sweet promises, we've all been on the receiving end of words that sound perfect, but don't align with actions. We've all heard someone say, "I care about you," or "You're important to me." But then we're left wondering, where's the proof? Words are easy to say, but actions, they reveal everything. So here's the truth. You don't need to chase, beg, or even second-guess how someone feels about you. What you need to do is measure their actions. Let's take a moment to think about this. How many times have you been in a situation where someone said all the right things, but their actions didn't match up? Maybe they promised to call, but didn't. Or they said, "I'll be there for you," but when the time came, they were nowhere to be found. That right there? That's the difference between words and actions. The truth is, anyone can tell you what you want to hear. They can recite sweet nothings, make promises they have no intention of keeping, and still leave you hanging. But actions don't lie. People will show you who they are by what they do, not by what they say. And if they say they care, but never show up when it counts, well, my friends, that's when you need to stop giving them the benefit of the doubt. You don't need to chase after them to figure out how they feel. You don't need to beg for their attention or beg them to prove their love. All you need to do is look at their behavior. Are they consistent? Or do they only show up when it's convenient for them? Consistency in someone's actions is the ultimate sign of their true intentions. If they're genuinely interested in you, they won't disappear when things get tough or when you need them most. They will show up. They'll make the effort. They'll let their actions speak for them. No words necessary. Think about it this way. If you're walking down a road and you keep turning around to check if they're behind you, that's a sign. If they're always there, walking beside you, staying consistent no matter what happens, that's when you know their intentions are true. If you have to keep looking over your shoulder, waiting for a text back, wondering if they really care, then something is off. A person who is genuinely interested doesn't leave you questioning. They don't leave you wondering if they're going to show up. They make the effort, and you feel their interest through their behavior, not just their words. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, but what if they really do care? What if they just have their own life going on, and maybe they're just busy? I get it, friends. Life happens. But here's the thing. If they truly value you, they'll make time for you. If someone cares about you, they'll prioritize you. They won't let you slip through the cracks. Consistency doesn't mean they have to be available every second of the day. But it does mean that when they say they'll show up, they actually show up. When they say they'll be there for you, they'll follow through. Their actions will be in alignment with their words. And when that happens, you won't have to second-guess anything. You won't have to wonder if you're a priority, because their behavior will tell you that you are. So, here's the truth, my friends. Stop wasting time trying to decipher empty words. It's easy for people to say what you want to hear, but it's not hard to spot when their actions don't match up. If someone is truly interested, they won't just talk about it. They'll show you. You don't need to beg for proof. The right person will show you through their actions without you needing to ask. If their words don't align with their actions, walk away. Don't waste another second wondering if you're reading it wrong. Trust the signs. Trust the actions. If someone cares about you, they will show you in the way they treat you, in the way they make an effort, in the way they invest in the relationship. When you stop chasing and start paying attention to what they do, that's when the truth becomes crystal clear. You'll no longer be stuck in the cycle of confusion, wondering whether or not they like you. Their actions will leave no room for doubt. And if their actions aren't matching up to their words, that's the moment you walk away with your head held high. Because here's the thing, you deserve someone who shows you their love through their actions, not their promises. So right now, I want you to look at your current relationships, whether it's romantic, platonic, or even professional, and ask yourself this. Are their actions aligned with their words? Do they consistently make the effort, or do they only show up when it's convenient for them? If the answer is the latter, then it's time to stop chasing. It's time to stop wasting your energy on empty promises and start focusing on the actions that truly matter. Because the right people? They will always show you through their actions how much they care. And when they do, you won't have to second-guess a thing. Now, I want you to say this with me. I trust actions over words. I won't settle for empty promises. Write it in the comments. Show yourself, show the world, that you're no longer willing to accept anything less than what you deserve. Number 4. Silence isn't empty. It holds more power than you think. Silence isn't empty. It's full of answers. Let that sink in for a moment, my friends. In today's world of instant communication, where every text, every notification demands an immediate response, silence has become this uncomfortable thing. People panic when they don't hear back right away, fearing that the silence means something is wrong. But what if I told you that silence isn't rejection? What if silence isn't avoidance at all? What if silence is one of your most powerful tools in dating? When you don't immediately respond to texts or calls, it doesn't mean you're punishing anyone. It means you're protecting your peace. You're sending a message that says, I don't drop everything for someone who hasn't earned my time and energy. Silence is an invitation to let them show up, and if they're serious about you, they will. If they're not, you've just created the space for the truth to unfold. Here's the thing, silence creates space. It creates room for reflection, room for them to think about what they really want, and most importantly, room for you to regain emotional control. When you're constantly chasing after someone, trying to fill the gaps with endless communication, you lose your sense of calm. But silence? Silence helps you maintain your inner peace. It's a chance for you to sit back, relax and observe, without the noise, without the rush, without the stress of needing instant validation. It gives you the clarity you need to make better decisions about who belongs in your life. Now, I know this might feel tough at first. Silence can be uncomfortable, especially when we've been conditioned to expect constant contact. But let me tell you something. Silence is not a threat. It's your power. When you don't respond immediately, you're not just waiting, you're watching. You're watching to see if the other person will invest the time and energy needed to keep the connection alive. You're giving them the space to prove whether they truly care or if they're just filling the void until something better comes along. So, the next time silence creeps in, don't fear it. Embrace it. Let it do its work, because when you stop chasing and start allowing the silence to speak, the truth about their interest in you will become crystal clear. Now, say this with me. I embrace the power of silence. I trust the space it creates. Write it in the comments. Let the world see your strength. Number 5. The fear of losing you, making them realize your worth. People don't appreciate what they don't fear losing. Let that one hit deep. Because here's a little secret, my friends. When you're always there, always available, always waiting for them to reach out or make a move, you're doing the exact opposite of what you should be doing. You're giving them everything they want, but not making them earn it. And when someone doesn't have to fight for something, they often forget how valuable it really is. Now think about this. When you've been too available for someone, when you've bent over backward, when you've let them take you for granted, they don't feel the urgency to make you a priority. Why should they? You've already handed them the treasure map. But here's where the power shift happens. When you finally remove yourself from the equation, when you stop chasing, that's when the fear sets in. The moment you step back and stop being readily available, that's when they start to realize what they might lose. It's not until you're no longer just a text away, no longer an easy option, that they start to feel that sharp edge of fear. They start to wonder if they've been taking you for granted. And that fear, it's a wake-up call. It forces them to acknowledge the value you brought into their life. It forces them to realize how much they've overlooked. When you stop chasing and create space, you make them feel the absence of your presence. They're forced to look inward and ask themselves, what if this person isn't going to wait around forever? What if I don't make an effort and they walk away for good? That, my friends, is when they'll see your worth without you needing to say a word. You don't have to convince them of anything. You simply need to stop being there at their every beck and call. You need to step back, and in doing so, let them recognize the treasure they've been casually ignoring. You don't need to beg for their attention. You don't need to prove your value to anyone. The moment you stop chasing and let them feel the fear of losing you, they'll realize what they had all along. And guess what? If they don't step up when that fear hits, then they were never worthy of you in the first place. So here's what I want you to do now. Say this with me. I won't chase. I'll let them feel the loss. Write it in the comments. Show yourself and the world your worth. Number 6. The art of detachment. How to be emotionally independent. True strength is not found in what you give to others, but in what you give to yourself. Let that sink in for a moment, because here's the truth. If you're constantly looking to someone else to define your worth, you're setting yourself up for emotional vulnerability. We've all been there, relying on someone else's behavior, their affection, or their approval to feel good about ourselves. But here's the reality check, folks. That's not emotional independence. That's emotional dependence, and it makes you weak. Emotional independence is key to maintaining balance in any relationship. It's the secret to being strong, calm, and unaffected by the emotional roller coaster that often comes with dating. If your happiness depends on how someone else treats you, you're giving them way too much power. Their behavior, their attention, or their approval shouldn't dictate how you feel about yourself. If they're inconsistent, If they're hot and cold, or if they're not putting in the effort you deserve, you're left feeling unstable, unsure, and often frustrated. Here's the thing, emotional detachment isn't about being cold or distant. It's not about shutting yourself off from love or affection. It's about being grounded in your own worth. It's about realizing that your sense of self isn't tied to someone else's actions or words. You are worthy of love and respect no matter what anyone else does or doesn't do. And when you realize this, when you trust that your happiness doesn't hinge on anyone else, that's when you truly step into your power. True emotional independence comes when you stop seeking validation from others. When you stop needing someone else to prove your worth, that's when you start to show your strength. Think about it. When you let go of the need for constant reassurance, when you stop chasing after someone else's approval, you automatically raise the bar for how people treat you. Because here's the secret. Let them prove their worth to you, not the other way around. Stop running after them. Stop seeking their approval to feel good about yourself. You are enough, with or without anyone else's validation. This is the art of detachment, knowing that you're whole, knowing that you don't need someone else's actions to feel secure in who you are. You're complete as you are. And when you embody that sense of inner peace and emotional strength, you'll start attracting the right people into your life. People who respect you, who value you for who you are, and who will prove their worth to you without needing to be constantly chased. So now, say this with me. I am emotionally independent. My worth is mine alone. Write it in the comments, my friends. Let the world see your power. Number 7. Stop begging. Create a situation where they have to earn you. Begging never works. In fact, it only pushes people away. Let that hit home, folks, because here's a tough truth. When you beg for someone's attention, affection, or time, you're showing them that you don't value yourself enough to set the standards you deserve. You're telling them that you'll settle for less. And trust me, no one is ever attracted to someone who is willing to settle for scraps. So if you're out here constantly begging, chasing, or pleading for someone's attention, you're only pushing them away, and probably not even realizing it. Now, let's flip the script. What if, instead of begging, you made them earn your time, your energy, your affection? What if, instead of running after them, you let them run after you? This, my friends, is where you start to reclaim your power. This is where you flip the power dynamic. When you stop begging, you stop allowing someone else to dictate your worth. You stop letting them have the upper hand in how they treat you. You start making them realize that your attention is something valuable, something they need to earn. Think of it like this. You're a VIP ticket. The right people will stand in line for you, wait patiently for their chance, and respect the fact that they need to earn a seat at your table. The moment you start making people put in the effort, you raise the bar. You show them that your time, your attention, and your affection are not free or easily earned. They're earned through consistency, respect, and true effort. You're not just giving yourself away to anyone who asks. No, my friends, you're saving your energy for those who show that they truly value it. If someone isn't willing to wait for you, if they're not willing to make the effort, then they don't deserve a seat at your table. Simple as that. You are not some prize that everyone gets just because they want it. You are a person of value, And only those who respect you and put in the work to prove it will get the privilege of having you in their life. And the more you make them put in that effort, the more they'll appreciate you. Why? Because the effort they put in will reflect how much they truly care. When things are easy, people don't value them. When they have to work for something, it becomes priceless. So here's the challenge, folks. Stop begging. Start creating a situation where people have to earn you. And when they do, you'll know it's real. Say this with me. I don't beg. I make them earn me. Write it in the comments. Show yourself. Show the world. Number 8. Walking away, the ultimate show of strength. Sometimes walking away is the strongest thing you can do. Let that sink in for a second, because walking away isn't weakness. It's the ultimate show of strength. It's the moment when you finally show someone that your worth isn't negotiable, that you won't settle for less than you deserve. Too often, we hold on to people who don't appreciate us, thinking that if we just stick around long enough, they'll realize our value. But here's the truth. If someone can't see your worth while you're there, they won't appreciate it until you leave. Walking away isn't about punishment. It's about protecting your self-respect. It's about saying, I'm not going to beg for your attention or love. I'm not going to chase after you. I know my worth, and I won't settle for being treated any less. When you walk away, you give them the space to realize their mistake. If they truly care about you, they'll come back, and if they don't, then it's their loss. So the next time you're in doubt, remember this. The strongest thing you can do is walk away with your head held high. Say it with me. I walk away with strength. Write it in the comments. So, my friend, listen to me. You are not just a text away. You are worth the chase, and the right person will recognize that. If they don't, then it's their loss. But trust me, when you stop begging and chasing and instead make them work for it, you create a dynamic where they can't afford to lose you. So stop trying to convince people that you're worth it. Let them figure that out on their own. Walk with your head held high, knowing that you are worthy of real love, real commitment, and real respect. And if they can't see that, then they'll feel the pain of losing you, and it'll be the wake-up call they need.